Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to the next to final edition of Favorite Album of the Year. All right, so today we're at the last year, 2019, that we're going to cover. Tomorrow's just going to be kind of like a recap, kind of a looking back on 65 through 2019. And I'll pick out like my 5 favorite years in music in that time frame. But today is the actual last episode that we're going to actually look at a particular year and my 2 picks, my favorite and my runner-up from 2019. So needless to say, which was not the case yesterday, but today my picks are going to stay exactly the same as they were at the end of 2019, which, not surprising, not that long ago. My favorite pick from last year is actually, could be one of the hottest albums in recent years. I think it's going to be looked at in the future as a classic of the rock genre. We'll see. That's my prediction. The other is just a really good kind of comeback album from one of my favorite bands. Okay, so let's go to my favorite here, released January 25th, 2019. So it came out right at the beginning of the year. And this is always interesting when a really, really great album comes out at the beginning of the year, to see if it'll kind of like, especially with me, whether it will hold my interest throughout the entire year. Because sometimes you get these great releases that come out in January, February, and by like kind of like August, you've like forgotten about them already. And yeah, they were great when they came out, listened to it a lot, but then, all this other stuff comes out, you kind of forget, and they get lost in the shuffle, disappear into the stacks on the shelves, whatever, and then bloop, out of sight, out of mind. With this particular album, I listened to this all throughout the year. I still dig it quite a bit. It's easily my favorite album in the discography of this band, and they have a lot of great albums. So again, released January 25th, 2019 for Low Country Sound Records, which is a division of Atlantic, produced by David Cobb. Of course, I'm talking about Feral Roots by Rival Sons. Great hard rock band from California. Okay. I know, kind of a weird psychedelic album cover, right? Excuse me, early in the morning here. One of those bands that I have been touting for years that should be absolutely enormous. If this were the 70s, these guys would be like huge, absolutely huge. Again, it's a style of bluesy hard rock with lots of psychedelia that kind of goes back to 1968, 69 through 75. That sort of thing. So, of course, they got influences from Bad Company, Free, Led Zeppelin, so on and so forth, right? Some of the psychedelic bands, some of the heavy hard rock bands, right? Great, amazing vocals, okay? Bluesy, fuzz-tinged riffs, okay? And amazing songs that are just so memorable. In the band, you've got Jay Buchanan on vocals. You've got Scott Holiday on guitars. You got Michael Miley on drums and Dave Bestie on bass guitars. You got a couple guys who fill in on keyboards and things like that on the album. But just an amazing track list. 11 tracks in total. Do Your Worst. The totally addictive Sugar on the Bone. You got Back in the Woods, Look Away, the title track, which could be my favorite song on the album. It's just epic. It's bluesy. It's atmospheric. It's got loads of psychedelia going on, and just an amazing vocal performance. Too Bad is a snarling heavy rocker with lots of fuzz on the guitar, funky rhythms. Stood By Me, Imperial Joy, All Directions, End of Forever, another fantastic rockin' song, and Shooting Stars to kind of finish it all off. I'm telling you, if you have not heard Feral Roots, you absolutely need to. And for any of you out there who are like, I don't know if I've ever listened to Rival Sons. What are Rival Sons all about? Well, you know what? I did a Ranking the Album show back a few months ago, so go check that out. All right, you can't go wrong with any of their albums. They're all really good, and this is one of those bands for me. Every album, they seem to be getting better. Okay, so again, I think enough people know about Rival Sons now. They're still not absolutely household names, but they should be. So that's my favorite of the year. My runner-up is, again, my number 2 from 2019. This was a great comeback for this band because I think that their previous album, which came out a couple years back, was like a double disc concept album that for a lot of people, it didn't really work too well. and for me was really the only album in their catalog that I really did not like, which, it's saying something because I really love this band a lot. So I'm talking about Distance Over Time from Dream Theater. Fantastic album, great production, great songs, back to kind of doing what Dream Theater does best. Memorable tunes and melodies, right? Plenty of hooks, heavy songs, proggy songs, lots of jaw-dropping instrumentation. Instrumentality, is that even a word? Untethered Angel, Paralyzed, great song. Fall Into the Light, Barstool Warrior, Room 137, S2N, one of my favorite tunes on the album. At Wit's End, Out of Reach, Pale Blue Dot, and Viper King is the bonus track. All good. Crankin' Dream Theater. I saw them on this tour. They played plenty off of this, as well as the entire Metropolis 2 Scenes from a Memory album. It was very, very cool to see. So there you have it. Feral Roots by Rival Sons, Distance Over Time, Dream Theater, my runner-up. You probably want to know what some of my other kind of attractions were from this year, right? Probably number 3 is Opeth's In Cauda Venenum, another fantastic album from the Swedish prog/hard rock giants. Got others, Candlemass, Door to Doom, Queensryche's The Verdict, Overkill, The Wings of War, Borknagar, True North, Arch Mathios, Winter Ethereal, Whitesnake, Flesh and Blood, the Neil Morris Band, The Great Adventure. Plus you got stuff from Vanden Plas, Alter Bridge, Magic Pie, Flotsam and Jetsam, Diamond Head, Spirits of Fire, Evergrey, The Aristocrats, Angel Witch, all sorts of other great releases in this particular year. I would encourage anybody, if you want kind of like a breakdown on what the Sea of Tranquility team, myself included, have voted in each and every year, starting I think with 2002 or 2003. I think is when we started doing that on the website. What we picked for our best albums of the year were. Please go to our website, okay, and that's at www.seaoftranquility.org, and how you can find these lists. On the left-hand navigation bar, you'll see a little thing called Sections. Click on that, it'll pull up a drop-down. And then in the drop-down, you'll see Annual Best Of. When you click on that, you'll actually go to a page, and it actually starts at 2003. So you'll see 2003 through 2019 every single year, and it'll be broken down by writer. Okay, so you'll have all of us there and all of our top, 20, 30, 50 picks of the year, top live albums, top concerts we saw, yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. So if you want to kind of get a little feel for what all the different writers, what they liked and what they picked as the best release of the year, it's a pretty cool thing. We do that every year at the end of the year, and, gets a lot of attention on the website because people want to know that stuff. What did you guys really like this year? You reviewed. It's like Pete. You reviewed like 300 albums this year. Which were your top 50? Okay, well I'll tell you. And just so you know how that works is during the course of the year, as I review things for the website or here on the channel, anything to me that is a 4 out of 5 star and up. So 4 out of 5, 4.5 or 5. That's to me a pretty spectacular album. That goes on a master list. So as the year goes by, anything that I deem a 4 and up goes to this list. And then at the end of the year, I take a look at the list and I start saying, all right, so I got to put them in some kind of order, right? So then I decide, do I want to do a top 20, top 30, top 50? In the old days, I used to do like a top 75, top 100. But in the last 2 years or so, because I've been so busy doing a lot of other things, I haven't reviewed or listened to as many albums as I used to. I think the days of me, listening to and reviewing 500 albums a year is kind of done. So last year, I think it was maybe 150 or something. That's really low for me. It's time. Anyway, so 2019, our final year of this fine show, this great series that we've been done. And, I've heard the sentiments from many people. I've read it on Facebook as well as here on YouTube. So many people have really enjoyed this series. We've been doing it for the last 54 days. And so many people have really gotten into this. And I got to tell you, the amount of comments every day and people participating has been absolutely mind-blowingly great. And so many people have been saying, I'm going to miss doing this and sharing this with Pete and everybody else on the channel every morning. I've been looking forward to it. So that's why I said I'm going to kind of try and replace this with something else, all right, that you guys can kind of really get into and sink your teeth into. That's going to be the Deep Cut Dive show. And like I said, I don't know if I'm going to deliver that every single day. You're definitely going to get that a couple days a week. But basically, in case you missed the announcement of this, what that's going to be is I'm going to pick a band. If it's not every day, it's going to be a couple days a week at least. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a band that's pretty notable for hits, greatest hits selections, or a band that goes out on tour and plays like that same selection of songs all the time. So the majority of the people know those 3 songs, 5 songs, 8 songs, whatever it might be, and maybe don't know a hell of a lot of other stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a notable band, and I'm going to give you 5 very cool deep cuts that you may have never heard before. And these deep cuts may come from a classic album. They may come from an album that didn't maybe sell too well, but it's still some great songs on it as well. Or it may be some kind of like bonus track that only got released on a compilation or on a box set or something like that. So it's going to be 5 tracks from a band, okay? So you guys can go check it out if you haven't. I know there's going to be a lot of you who know these bands and catalogs pretty well, so the stuff I'm kind of pumping out at you, you may already know, but I'm sure for a good majority, there's going to be songs that people have never heard before. So, for someone, for instance, yesterday, Pat Travers, right? So everybody knows Boom Boom Out Go the Lights, right? There's probably a lot of people who are like, that's the only song I ever heard by Pat Travers. I don't know anything else. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you 5 Pat Travers deep cuts that you absolutely need to check out. And no, it's not going to be Snorting Whiskey or, any of the other usual suspects. It's going to be 5 really, really kind of cool deep cuts. All right. So that's kind of what that show is going to all be about. So look forward to that. All right. So you know how it goes? In the comments below, list your favorite or favorite favorites from 2019. Okay, and remember there's no right or wrong answer here. And tomorrow I will give you, once again, a little recap. So again, thanks to everybody for your participation in this series over the last 54 days. It has been greatly appreciated, and I'm really happy everybody got so much out of it. And I totally get all of you who've been saying you're going to miss doing this every morning, because I will as well. This was a lot of fun. So, but like I said, we're going to move into a lot of other fun things on the channel. So coming up later this morning, Martin Popoff's coming back on the show. We're going to give us our top 10 songs from Badlands. Jack Toledano is also coming back on the show today. We're going to give you top 10 songs of Primal Fear, great German power metal band. Also, got a cool interview coming up early this afternoon. Jason Tipton, guitarist extraordinaire from Zero Hour, the great progressive metal band from the West Coast. They're getting back together to release another album, finally. So Jason and I are going to talk all about that. And then more stuff happening soon. So stay tuned for that. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.